After Gervonta Davis' devastating KO of Frank Martin this last Saturday, I'm left with the question, who does Tank fight next? Now, there are many options on the table for Tank. He could fight any of the champions at 135, he could have a rematch with either Ryan Garcia or Isaac Cruz at 140, or possibly face Devin Haney. Now, I don't think he would fight Devin Haney, especially considering that Haney lost to Ryan Garcia badly in their fight, but regardless, we'll go over all potential opponents for Tank. Starting with the champions at 135, those being Loma, Shakur, and Dennis Berinchyk. Now, Dennis Berinchyk is a little less known than Loma and Shakur, so let's go over him first. Berinchyk won the WBO belt recently in a fight against Emmanuel Naredev via split decision. Berinchyk is a Ukrainian boxer who is a silver Olympic medalist. He won the Olympic medal at the 2012 Olympic Games, which is no small feat. This is his first world title, which is kind of crazy considering he's been pro for 9 years, and his fellow countryman, Alexander Usyk, who was on the Olympic team with him, has now become undisputed in his second weight class at heavyweight. Now, he didn't look bad against Emmanuel Naredev, but the fight wasn't super interesting. Naredev was sometimes throwing sloppy punches, but he was super aggressive during the fight. Berinchyk was able to box well against him and keep Naredev off of him, and never really let him get any chance to land anything big on him, which got him the win. Now, Berinchy's style of boxing is one of a good boxer who has good combinations, but he lacks cardio, which I can see a big problem for him if he fights Tank, as I can see Tank taking advantage of that lack of cardio and finishing rather early, near the 5th or the 6th round. Moving on from Berinchyk, we go on to the main guys at 135 pounds that people want to see Tank fight. Starting off with Shakur Stevenson. Now, Shakur is a good boxer who has nice combinations when he lets his hands go. His only quote-unquote problem is he moves around a lot, as he did in his last fight with Edwin De Los Santos, which got him labeled as a runner and as a boring fighter. Now, me personally, I didn't mind it as much as other people did, but it got me questioning Shakur's chin, as he was really trying to stay away from Santos and not let him land any punches at all. He was landing well on him, but he would make sure that he was always moving away and never letting Santos land anything, which is a great way of boxing, as you're landing and not letting the other guy land at all, and it literally reiterates the hit and don't get hit saying. But it really did have me question if Shakur can take punches well, as his opponent Santos had an 87% finish rate, finishing 14 of his last 16 opponents. But regardless if Shakur has a chin or not, if he can box with Tank the way he did with Santos, I say he has a fair chance of beating Tank. As if he can win those early rounds, keep Tank off of him, and not get stuck anywhere, and give Tank no chance to catch him, he could win the fight. But if he doesn't have a chin, then it causes big problems for him, as all it takes for Tank is to catch him with one big counter or a left hand to take him out. This fight would truly be interesting, as both guys have styles that are bad matchups for each other, as Shakur has the style of moving and boxing well, as Tank tries to let his opponent wear themselves out in those early rounds and then goes for a finish. It would be really interesting to see who would win this one. Now, I see a way for both guys to win, but if I'm being honest, I see Tank knocking out Shakur cold. I feel like the same thing that happened with Frank Martin is going to happen with Shakur. With Shakur boxing well and taking those early rounds, and Tank adjusting to his style and landing something big in the later rounds, which ends the fight. Moving on from Shakur, we go on to the big dog in Loma. Now, a big problem I see for Tank if he does fight and beat Loma is people mentioning Loma's age, as Loma is now 36 and coming close to the age of leaving his prime. But with his recent KO win over Kambosos, it's safe to say Loma still got it in him. Now, I feel that Loma would be Tank's biggest test, and this fight would be really interesting as both guys start off slow and don't really do much in those early rounds. But in those later rounds is where it would really start to pick up. Now, I don't believe that Loma would get KO'd by Tank. I feel like he would be the only one out of the current 135-pound champions to go all 12 rounds with Tank. I couldn't really see Tank being able to back Loma up to a corner and keep him there to get the finish, as I could see him doing with Shakur and Berinchyk. But then again, Tank has God-given power, so I could see him landing something that might just end the fight. Loma's style works great for him against Tank. If he can keep up the exchanges with Tank, keep cutting angles, keep up the pressure on Tank, Tank might not be able to adapt to his style as quickly as he does to others, which could cause him to be able to get a win over Tank through decision. Overall, it would be a great fight, it would be amazing, and it would be an amazing fight if this actually did happen, as people have wanted this fight for years, and I think it would be a huge fight at lightweight, and this fight would definitely sell a lot, and would sell a lot of pay-per-views, so everyone would win in the end. Moving away from the 135-pound division, and moving on to the possible rematches at 140, we had the rematch with Ryan Garcia. Now, a rematch at 140 with Ryan would look great in Ryan's favor, as he looked completely drained in their last fight at 135 pounds. I feel as if Ryan could win this fight if he just fights smarter and sticks to a game plan. He can 100% pull off a win. Now, there is no world where this fight would ever go to a decision, as both guys are power punchers and one of them is going to get KO'd. I feel this would kind of play out as the first one did, but way better for Ryan is if he has a game plan and employs that game plan, he will have a bigger chance of winning. In the previous fight, it was unclear if Ryan even had a plan. At some points, it looked like he was just swinging randomly at Tank, hoping that left hook would land, which actually caused him to get countered badly twice, once which sent him to the canvas, and the other which ended the fight. If Ryan sticks to his game plan of trying to outbox Tank, keeping Tank at a distance, setting up traps, feinting, and keeping Tank on his toes trying to predict what Ryan is trying to do, he can win. But if he goes out there swinging and trying to land that left hook again, he's going to lose. Moving on to Tank's side of this fight, I feel like Tank might even have a higher chance of Ryan than beating Ryan again, as he's already used to how Ryan boxes, which is really bad for Ryan if he doesn't change anything because it will lead to him getting KO'd by Tank again. On to the other rematch at 140, and what I feel would be another tough matchup for Tank would be a rematch with Isaac Cruz. And this rematch would go crazy as Isaac Cruz was the first person in a while to go all full 12 rounds with Tank. Now the first fight was already a classic as it was a great fight where both guys were really trying to take the fight to each other and were really trying to knock each other out. Now there was some controversy in the first fight. Apparently Tank might have hurt one of his hands before the fight, and that was the only reason it went to decision, but I don't think that's true, and he could have hurt his hands possibly throughout their fight. Now I feel like Isaac Cruz has what it takes to beat Tank and has a better chance than anyone on this list other than Loma. I feel like him and Loma have the greatest chances of beating Tank. In the first fight, Cruz was putting a lot of pressure on Tank, which caused a lot of problems for Tank and made it harder for Tank to figure out his style as he was too busy dealing with all the pressure Cruz was putting on him. But as I said with the Ryan rematch, this is a problem for guys rematching Tank as he's already fought you, so there's a chance he's already figured out your style and could employ a strategy which results in you hitting the canvas and Tank doing a flip off those top ropes. But regardless, I can see this fight going either way as both guys were going crazy last time and were really trying to knock each other out. So this fight could go either way, and I would definitely watch it if they were to rematch each other. Now on to our final potential opponent for Tank, that being Devin Haney. Now I'm going to make this one quite quick as I don't see Devin Haney beating Tank. Now I don't mean this as any disrespectful way to Devin Haney, as I like him quite a lot, but I just don't see him beating Tank. If he's able to move like how he was moving in Regis Progress and landing those big shots as he's moving away, he might have a chance of beating Tank. But with his last showing with Ryan Garcia, it shows that Devin can't really take those big shots well, and while Tank is quite literally the biggest power puncher in these lower weight classes. Also, his game plan with Ryan Garcia wasn't smart at all. Why would he try to walk down a power puncher? He should have stuck to sticking and moving because he doesn't have the power to walk down a power puncher. I feel like Tank would lead him to a false sense of security of making Devin believe that he is walking Tank down and just pop him with a big shot like he did with Raleigh, ending the fight. Well guys, that's gonna be it for this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And comment below who you guys think Tank should be fighting next. I personally think he should be fighting either Loma or Shakur next, and not worry about those rematches or a fight with Devin Haney. And as always, thank you guys for watching.